The question on my mind right now, can Lionsgate bounce back this year after abysmal movies and box office bombs such as Borderlands and The Crow 2024 and Megaflopolis I also heard was terrible. So Lionsgate, please redeem yourselves this year. Please. Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner and welcome to my review of Ballerina, or From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. I hate that subtitles just say like John Wick Ballerina. Never mind. Ballerina is the new spinoff of the John Wick franchise and the fifth film overall in the franchise. This film directed by Len Wiseman starring Ana De Armas. Set between John Wick Chapter 3 and 4, we follow Eve, played by Ana De Armas, a young woman who chooses to join a tribe of assassin ballerinas known as the Ruska Roma. She embarks on a path of revenge to take out the cult leader of an organization ever since her childhood. Before I get to my review, any new viewers coming across my channel for the first time, welcome to my channel. I am Jack Benner. I do movie reviews on here. From time to time, I do some top 5 lists on here. So if you're looking for either movie reviews or top 5 lists, you're definitely in the right place. So you like movie content, like what you see so far, definitely considering that like and subscribe button for more exciting movie content down the road. If there was one action movie franchise that started in the mid-2010s that has become an iconic action franchise, it would definitely be John Wick. And to give you my thoughts on the first 4 John Wick movies, let's start with the first John Wick in 2014. This was a fantastic beginning to the franchise and a perfect action comeback for Keanu Reeves in what I still think is his best performance in this movie since the first Matrix. And what I love about the first John Wick film, it wasn't just a standard run-of-the-mill action revenge film. It actually did have a strong emotional core that really made me care about John Wick. The stunt work is incredible, the action scenes are fantastic, especially the nightclub sequence. This and Edge of Tomorrow were my picks for the most surprising films of that year. And this would be in my top 15 favorite films of 2014. Despite that this movie was not a major box office success in its theatrical release, luckily it did gain popularity through DVD sales and great word of mouth, where this movie became a sleeper hit, and with that success, it got a sequel. Which leads us to 2017 with John Wick Chapter 2. I do prefer the first film more. I did feel like John Wick had a stronger motivation in the first film than in Chapter 2. But this was still a great action sequel to continue John Wick's story and expand the world building. Terrific action, good villains, and Reeves is still fantastic as John Wick. Oh, and one more thing. Pencil kill. Holy shit. And what I learned from that and The Bourne Identity, writing utensils can be used as weapons. And with that ending, with John Wick breaking the rules at the Continental and going excommunicado did pave the way for Chapter 3, which we got a third film in 2019, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. An awesome threequel to the franchise with even more crazier, brutal, and insane action sequences than the first 2. Strong villains, a great continuation, Halle Berry was a great addition, and it was a riveting on-the-run story for John Wick. And to highlight the best action scene in this film, what is still, to this day, the most brutal action scene in the entire franchise, the knife shop fight scene, like,
oh my god.
I will never forget seeing this movie in theaters on its opening weekend and listening to some of the audience reactions during that fight. Like, my god, it was insane and brutal. Wow. And then in 2023, we got John Wick Chapter 4. And what I think is the best John Wick film in the franchise, topping the first film. This movie has incredible new additions from Donnie Yen as Kane, who was a total badass, and Bill Skarsgård was a great villain. It's got a great tension-building story with high stakes to it, the best and most gorgeous cinematography of the entire franchise, and of course, the phenomenal stunt fight choreography. And what is the best action scene of the franchise? The overhead shootout in the hotel room with the Dragon's Breath shotgun. My god, that was jaw-dropping, and that is the most creative action scene in the entire John Wick franchise, just from a filmmaking's perspective. This is one of my favorite action movies of the 2020s decade, my favorite being Top Gun Maverick, and this is in my top 15 favorite films of 2023. Right after 4's ending, if that was the very last John Wick film, I would have been very satisfied. And I didn't think there would be any more stories to tell after that, and I don't think a John Wick 5 is necessary at all. However, I wouldn't be opposed to any future spin-offs or TV shows if they can make it work, which leads us to the new John Wick spin-off, Ballerina. I was curious to see how this spinoff would go without John Wick as the lead, although he is in this movie in a small supporting role, and this film is set between 3 and 4. Also, this film being directed by Len Wiseman instead of Chad Stahelski, and Len Wiseman is a director who, iffy track record to say. He's directed a few Underworld movies, the 2012 remake of Total Recall, but he also directed Live Free or Die Hard, which I think is the second or third best Die Hard movie and much better than Die Hard 5, that's for sure. And I was excited to see Ana De Armas cast as a lead in a John Wick spinoff, after being impressed with her action scenes in No Time to Die, although with limited screen time. So I was excited to see her make a jump from a supporting role in a 007 film to a lead in a John Wick film. However, I was worried after hearing the reshoots of this movie, and Chad Stahelski took over an original cut of the film, and the film was delayed a year to work on the action scenes more. But when the trailer did come out, I was optimistic for this spinoff. It did look promising. It looked like it was maintaining the strengths of the previous films, and I was loving Ana De Armas as the lead. And the story did seem tailor-made for a John Wick narrative, with its potential for a riveting revenge film like the first John Wick. I saw Ballerina opening weekend, open-minded. As a fan of the John Wick films, I was hoping this would be a good spinoff. And what are my thoughts on Ballerina? Is it a good spinoff? A bad spinoff? Is it meh? While I don't think it's as good as the first 4 John Wick films, I did find this to be a worthy addition to the John Wick franchise that is thrilling and entertaining thanks to a fantastic Ana De Armas. Even if I didn't love this movie, I was happy that I was entertained by this movie. To start with my praises, Ana De Armas gives a terrific action lead performance here. And I thought she was great in past films such as Blade Runner 2049 and Knives Out. And like I said earlier, I thought she was great in her limited screen time in No Time to Die as Paloma. And for those excited to see Ana De Armas as an action star here, let me just say this. No Time to Die was the appetizers for her. Ballerina is the full course for her. Ana De Armas shows tremendous commitment to a variety of action scenes from combat and gun fu. It's proven in her first scene training at the Roscaroma through different tests how dedicated and amount of perseverance she shows. She's tenacious, ferocious, and super badass. Beyond that, her vulnerability and tragedy makes her more interesting and sympathetic. From how tortured, vengeful, and her persistence and inner turmoil about her life choices. It was an absolute treat to see Ana De Armas get the spotlight in an action role under a reliable director to fully utilize her action capabilities here. And if they do plan to do more with her character in the future, I'd be interested. And the rest of the performances are quite good as well. Angelica Houston back as the director reprising her role from 3, and Ian McShane returning as Winston for the 5th time here. Both of them are as great as ever, and it was also great and sad to see Lance Reddick one more time in this franchise in his final on-screen appearance before his passing in 2023. Rest in peace, he did such a great job in this franchise. And of course, Keanu Reeves returning as the Baba Yaga himself, John Wick. Though with limited screen time here, he is still terrific in the role, as always. Excelling in one fight scene, but also works as an opponent for one scene with her in the climax. And I didn't really feel like he was shoehorned into the story, which I heard some complaints. I felt like there was a justified reason to bring him back here, given where 4 ended, so I did feel like his placement makes sense here. And of course, what you come for the John Wick movies for, the action and spectacle here. Despite my concerns about the reshoots during this movie, I am happy to report they are absolutely thrilling and worth the price of admission. I did think it was the right call to delay the film a year to improve the action scenes, and also Chad Stahelski, director of the 4 John Wick movies, coming in to give this film a helping hand during reshoots, that definitely contributed as well. And I do remember he also helped with the stunt work for Birds of Prey, so that definitely helps too. So if you ever need to improve your action scenes, you know who to call. Whether of who truly deserves the credit for crafting the action scenes here, Len Wiseman or Chad Stahelski, I feel like they deserve equal credit here. Because the action scenes are directed greatly here. From the top-notch stunt work and the fight choreography, camera work, staging, tension, and relentless energy, and how visceral and brutal they are. All the strengths of the John Wick franchise are incorporated excellently here in Ballerina. They are well shot and well edited without being shaky, and you can see what's going on to truly admire the stunt work here. And the whole commitment the cast and crew put into the action scenes here. Every action scene gets more insane and relentless than the previous one. And this is a pretty action-packed movie that is well paced. I was never really bored during this movie. And for two action standouts of this movie, one involving grenades that was awesome, and another one involving flamethrowers in the climax. And how is it taking this long for a John Wick film to use flamethrowers? But nevertheless, that scene was incredible. One of the biggest strengths of the John Wick franchise was the world building of the Continental. It had great potential for world building in the first film. In Chapter 2, it was great to see more of an expansion of it. And Ballerina continues to apply that, expanding the Continental in an interesting way, and introducing a new organization and threat for our main character. So it's great to see action franchises that have interesting world building like this. And as for the story, I did find it to be interesting. Thought it was an engaging revenge film, even though I wouldn't say it has much depth as like the first John Wick. It still did enough to make me care about Eve and her revenge story. Sadly, I do have some flaws with this movie. I will get to those right now. First, my biggest problem is definitely the villain. He is quite generic. Despite played by Gabriel Byrne, who was great in Hereditary, here he is just wasted here in a pretty typical villain for this type of movie, for revenge, just being a target for the main character. And he's just like standing around, not that much of a threat, just giving orders. And he's just a pretty boring and generic villain by the end of the day. And speaking of another actor who was very underused in this movie, Norman Reedus. When he was introduced in the middle of this movie, I was like, okay, I'm liking this character so far. Let's see what they do with him. And then they sideline him in the middle of the movie. It was like, wait, you're done with him after that? Wait, what? I wondered if he was going to have a bigger role before reshoots, but maybe his role has been affected by reshoots with minimal screen time. And that's such a shame to see Norman Reedus be underutilized in a movie like this. And there is one twist that happens during the second act of this movie with one character. When that reveal occurred, I was like, oh, this does sound interesting. Let's see what they do with this. It had potential to be interesting, but after its reveal, it just gets dropped. And that could have been a good opportunity to add more depth, but it kind of felt pointless at the end of the day. It was like, you just ended that reveal like that. And again, it might have been the reshoots, but that twist kind of felt pointless and didn't really amount to that much. To sum up, while it doesn't reach the same heights as its predecessors, being held back from a generic villain and some spots where I could tell the reshoots might have affected something, Ballerina succeeds as a worthy spinoff in the John Wick franchise thanks to a fantastic lead action performance from Ana De Armas and thrilling action set pieces. I would definitely recommend this movie to you if you're fans of the John Wick franchise. I don't think you'll be disappointed here, or if you love Ana De Armas and want to see her in an action movie like this, you definitely got it. Or even if you're not a fan of the John Wick franchise, I think there can be something to enjoy here. So two solid action movies this summer, this and Mission Impossible 8. If they plan to do a sequel in the future or find some way to bring her back, I would like to see more from Eve, and I think this was a solid introduction for her. And now to grade it, I'm going to give From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, 3.5 stars out of 5. A B. Now, on its opening weekend, it did gross $25 million, which it is underperforming right now. And it came in second place behind Lilo & Stitch remake in its third weekend at the box office. I wonder if that could be this is a competitive summer right now. And with previous films such as Memorial Day weekend with Lilo & Stitch and Mission Impossible, and upcoming competition from the How to Train Your Dragon remake this Friday, 28 years later, Elio I would say, but it is projected to be one of Pixar's lowest opening weekends, and that film has a huge budget, which I want that movie to be good, but I don't think it's going to do very well at the box office. And so we do have a competitive month for June, and we also have F1 with Brad Pitt, which looks great. So I have a feeling it might not perform that well at the box office in its upcoming weekends. Or maybe there wasn't a whole lot of interest for a John Wick spinoff and would much rather leave the film ending at 4, despite this movie receiving solid reviews from critics. So I have a feeling a sequel could be on hold for the future, but I do hope we can get something with this character down the road. And now with 5 films, here's my ranking of the John Wick franchise. Number 5 would be Ballerina. Number 4 would be John Wick Chapter 2. Number 3, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Number 2, John Wick 1. And number 1 is John Wick Chapter 4. So that is my ranking of the John Wick franchise, and where would Ballerina be in your ranking in the comments below? So I would like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of Ballerina? Have you seen it? Do you agree, disagree with my review? Or if you haven't seen it, are interested in seeing the film or not? Let me know down below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie and want to see more reviews like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, and don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. My social media links will be in the description down below. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and if you'd like to see my written reviews, I do have a letterbox, so if you'd like to follow me on there as well. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.